We are rolling episode number 2.
Let's do this. First and foremost, I just wanted to comment on the black tea. What was it chai?
Yeah, it was black chai.
Yeah, we were sipping on that chai tea. It was pretty good. I will say that chai tea is one of those things where it's like, man, temperature is everything. Like cold chai tea, great. Hot chai tea, awesome. Lukewarm chai tea, garbage. I can't do it. It's just it doesn't carry the flavor good.
Or if all of the ice is melted and it's just watery.
Yeah, watery cinnamon tea, not good.
You want to tell us about your favorite drink before shows or special occasions?
My favorite drink?
Yeah, don't you like a dirty chai?
Oh yeah, no, that's lore, yo. That's lore. Yeah, like before, if I have a big day, a big show coming up, I like to get a chai tea latte with a shot of espresso, aka dirty chai. Now, I kind of like the way Dunkin' does it, but like I understand, like it's Dunkin' Donuts, like it's not.
Are they at least consistent?
That's why I rock with them, because of the consistency. It's like I know what I'm going to get.
Waffle House coffee is pretty consistent also.
Waffle House coffee is like elixir from the gods, yo. I don't know what they put in Waffle House coffee, man. But
Waffy coffee.
Bruh, I don't know what they put in that. Listen, I can be about to pass out, fall asleep. A sip of that Waffle House coffee, man, I'm ready to tackle the world. I don't know what they put in it. It can't be regular. I ain't even really trying to expose Waffle House like that because we need Waffle House, but I think they putting something in the coffee for sure.
The only thing going on in my mind right now is waffy coffee.
Waffy coffee. But yeah, no, dirty chai for the win. My favorite dirty chai is C's in Montevallo, the little coffee shop. Yeah, they got the best dirty chai. It's perfect.
Man,
their chai tea is so strong though. You take a sip and it just like punches you in the throat.
Is it like sweet strong or?
No, it's like the potency of the spices,
like
bro.
Dark tea. Strong.
Yeah, it's like the aromatics and all of that. It's just I don't know what they got going, but it's intense.
Man, I know we got some beef about tea, and all I gotta say is that I am looking forward to getting a proper ceremonial tea setup going so that we can drink actual tea leaves steeped at the exact right temperature out of teeny tiny cups.
Yeah, Sponge got me one for Christmas. He got me like a authentic like tea set.
Well, I got to get some authentic tea because what we are calling tea, what everybody calls tea, is really just herbal tea.
Are we doing this?
It is not.
Are we
pure
doing this?
Tea.
Hold on. What kind of tea is it?
Herbal tea.
Okay, so you understand you're using herbal as an adjective. Tea is the noun, is it not?
Fair enough.
So
I mean, listen, we will call anything steeped in water tea. Soup is technically tea with texture.
No. I'm drawing the line.
You're right. My creative brain is exhausted.
Drawing
That's
the line.
Extrapolating too far.
Because like if you're saying soup is tea, then where's the line between like soup and stew and and pasta?
Have you ever drank tea out of a mug? Damn it! I meant to ask. Have you ever drank soup out of a mug?
I mean, I'm pretty sure sometime, within some moment of my life where, we was in the trenches and struggling, I'm sure like there wasn't a bowl and there was like a mug and a spoon. So it was like, yeah, whatever. Like,
you've never drank soup out of a teacup by choice?
By choice? No.
That is a major cultural difference, my friend. Because I looked forward to being sick and drinking my soup out of a mug.
Oh, no.
Instead of the regular bowl.
Like if it was, the only option, then yeah, you might grab a mug and crack open that there Campbell's, crack open that Campbell's chicken noodle soup, but other than that, like, no, I'm not trying to eat soup, drink soup. Do you eat soup or do you drink soup? What's the deal?
Depends on the texture involved in the soup. And while we're on the subject of tea, I mean, I really enjoy grinding up some fresh ginger and cinnamon sticks and boiling them in water.
That's not what I thought you were going.
It's more of an elixir That's what I go to when I'm feeling sick. I don't know why
I thought you were using tea as like a pun. I thought you were about to segue into something juicy. Like, oh, speaking of tea, I thought you were about to, but no, you literally.
Let me try again. I'm a little slow today. It has been a crazy month. So the tea. Tell me what you've been up to the past month, Cash.
Month?
I mean, honestly, we can just start with this past weekend.
I was about to say I can tell you what we've been doing all month, dude. This theater contract that I took up, like I've been running lights for Mary Poppins, and it's like every aspect of that play has just seeped into every bit of my life. It's taking over.
You want to give them some bars that you've rewritten?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious shit. What I say? Word up on the street is that your mama on some hoe shit.
Hey.
Your baby mama bugging me, asking can she hold shit. Run up on my people wrong, they thump you with that pole, bitch. Like just stupid, just
I'm
dumb parodies. I had another one for anything can happen if you let it. Run up on my people wrong, we let that thing go flying at all your kinfolk. That's all I got.
What song is that for Mary Poppins?
I don't know.
Because I watched the movie a lot as a kid. I'm not super familiar with it.
It could have been something they added. Bro, I thought Mary Poppins was the one where old girl took all them drugs and found out she like fell down the hole after she was tripping.
That's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I know. So like whenever I was doing the tech for Mary Poppins, I kept waiting for Shawty to fall down the hole. And she never did. I was like, bro, what's this? I remember we were like way into Act 2, and I'm like, where's the hole at, yo? Yeah. So, so other than Mary Poppins, we had a decent little weekend of shows. First and foremost, we were at St.Stephen's on the 21st for their roller derby team. Not St.Stephen's roller derby team, Huntsville's roller derby team
hosted an event at Stephen's Music Hall.
Yes, and Miss Eben was nice enough to give us the opportunity to play for that. That was cool. Awesome crowd. They have a really tight-knit community, those roller derby people. Good people, great vibes all around. And then the next day we played at the Orion for the Juneteenth thing they had. I don't know the actual title. I don't know who put it together. I don't know who to shout out, but it was fire. It was awesome.
I really appreciate the Orion Amphitheatre and all the things they are doing to activate that space outside of giant, enormous concerts.
Yeah.
Bringing local people in, having vendors.
Yeah. Oh, dude, shout out to the sound guy. He was getting these bands in and out, and we had like 15 minutes in between each set, and like some bands had crazy setups, but it was like in and out. Like he had all these moving parts where normally it would like stress out a sound guy if they had 30, 40, 50 minutes even. Like this dude was just so nonchalant. He was like, oh, you got drums, perks and horns and
was he
whatever.
EQing as you guys were going? Because it doesn't sound like there was time to do a sound check.
He did everything extremely super lightning fast, and he got it all done efficiently. It was crazy. Shouts out to him. I don't know his name, but he was fire. A
good sound guy can make or break a show, for sure.
Absolutely. And then that evening, I was an honorary member of the Meat Sweats.
Hey.
If you don't know who the Meat Sweats are, they're a bunch of local legends. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them people. And that was also at St. Stephen's. So played 2 shows at St. Stephen's and then one at the Orion. It was crazy hectic, but it was a good time.
I played a show at St. Stephen's before they were in their current location.
Where were they before?
They were over by First Stop. They were a lot closer to the downtown area, but they had issues with zoning and they couldn't open, and it was unfortunate. However, the space was all set up, and because it was a private event for a house show that had got rained out July 23, I played there. I opened for Dweeby and OK Kenedi, and that was the first time I was like, you know what? I really feel embraced by this Huntsville community. Yeah. The next day, Wanda was like, we're renting a house out. We need another roommate to make it happen. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm moving to Huntsville.
That was only a year ago?
That was less than a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So that St.Stephen's Music Hall has meant a lot to me, and I have had incredible experiences every time I've been there.
Yeah,
I'm paying attention. My eyes are open when I'm there.
Yeah, for sure. I think they have a great staff as well. Shout out to my man Evan over there doing this thing.
I love Evan Billiter.
Yeah. They do their thing for sure. I'm trying to think. What else was I going to ask you? No, what you have going on this weekend? You were all over the place.
Man, speaking of a good sound guy making a break in a show, I was supposed to be at the Juneteenth celebration with Soul Carnival.
Listen, just throwing a little shade.
I can take it. About a week and a half before that show, I got a call for a gig down in Montgomery, and it was going to pay me really well. So you understood.
Yeah, no.
We don't ever get in the way of.
No, of course not.
Getting that bag.
Yeah, no.
But it was a weird vibe. It was a 3-hour gig.
By yourself?
By myself.
3-hour gig by
Miss
yourself.
Calliope, they had this family-friendly event going on.
Hell to the no.
They're paying me well.
I can't imagine. Dude, 3 hours by yourself is crazy.
It was pretty thankless. But luckily, I was, Miss Calliope for this gig, so I loop pedaled some stuff, and then I took my ribbon sticks out in the grass and was, dancing with them.
I was about to say, how were you going to kill all that time?
First set was rough. First set was really rough because people are just walking by, and it was at Montgomery Whitewater. There's been a big controversy around the establishment of that place.
Well, I don't know about
having chlorinated water pumped into a space that is right next to the
river. What is this Montgomery water scandal? I don't know nothing about this.
Also right next to the military base. Who knows, really? At the end of the day, I can't say too much. I was grateful for the opportunity.
Oh, okay, you can't say too much. Okay, it's classified.
I don't want to. I don't have all of the information to speak on these things. I just know what people are saying, and so
stay tuned for the mystery of the Montgomery water scandal.
I'm just keeping my eyes and ears open.
Is it chlorinated? Is it not? Find out next on the next episode.
It's it's like a water park. So everyone there is ready to go do their water park things. They're not trying to listen to live music, but they also have a restaurant and a big green area, and they're trying to breathe life into the economy, into the family-friendly things.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. I was grateful to play a show and get paid well to do it.
I'm sorry, I'm mad distracted, but I have to ask. So this water park, do they have a wave pool?
They don't have a wave pool. It is Montgomery Whitewater. It is specifically a concrete obstacle course that they send water through.
Cool.
And they had a kids triathlon there in the morning, a big summer solstice celebration.
Okay.
The sound guy Russell, he plays bass for Electric Blue Yonder, also an incredible band out of Montgomery.
That's a fire name. Electric Blue Yonder?
They're so cool.
That's fire.
They're so cool. I saw them at St. Stephen's a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Their front man books for Montgomery Whitewater. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a family-friendly act. So as you know, live music is a buzzword in so many places, and they want to claim that they have live music because they think that will bring someone in.
Yeah.
So it was really, they've been open for less than a year. They're still figuring their stuff out. Miss Calliope wasn't going to be bringing anyone in. Miss Calliope was only going to be providing an atmosphere to make it more family friendly.
Oh, I see.
Because no one in Montgomery really knows who I am out in the public yet. I've done a lot of work with the Arts Council and the Arts Alliance, with the Montgomery Museum of Fine Art, but the general public is not
aware.
Hold on,
so I gotta ask you this. So how do you balance like Miss Calliope and then Calliope proper, I guess? I don't know what you call yourself.
Well,
because this is what I'm saying. A 3-hour set, and you gotta be family friendly.
I played some Calliope Pettis stuff because by the last set I was like, okay, let me rewind. First set, oh my gosh, this is such a thankless gig. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not getting any energy from the audience. And part of performing is receiving the energy from the audience and channeling it and magnifying it and then giving it back to them. And so come time for the second set, I'm like, I'm just going to have fun. So I'm going to loop pedal some stuff, and I'm going to go dance with my ribbon sticks. I left the ribbon sticks out in the lawn. And the funny thing and sad thing was kids would come along, and they'd want to pick these ribbon sticks up and start dancing with them. But they're the kind of parents...
To those of us that don't know what a ribbon stick is, can you explain it? Because I'm just pretending like I know what the hell you're talking about.
It's literally, I made them for Miss Calliope's From the Soil to the Stars show. And there's a song about what a plant needs to grow. Soil, water, air, and sun. And so I call them elemental sticks.
Okay.
And so it's just a dowel rod that I painted a fun color with a little bit of sparkles, and then I hot glued some ribbon onto the end of it.
Okay. So you out there twirling.
So it's like a fun thing to do.
Music festival type thing.
Yeah, there was a girl around our age who was there with her hula hoop, and she was like flow dancing. So we were flowing together. It was fun. But the sad thing is so many kids wanted to walk up to these ribbon sticks and pick them up and play with them. And their parents were on the type of time, like, no, don't touch your things. And I'm like, I literally put them here for you to play with. And I literally was handing things, breaking out whatever it was. Because kids love to get their hands on things.
Yeah.
Second set was fine. I did make some friends. I let a little kid play my cigar box guitar, and I made up a song about him. So it's like those. So maybe there were, let's say, 300 to 400 people there that day. I connected with 2 families and like 2 adults. Mm-hmm. And otherwise it was just it was a really big challenge. However, they're good money gigs that pop up sometimes. And so I'm trying to figure out how to balance me having fun and remembering that I'm creating my own fun when nobody else is really caring much. Mm-hmm. Because we can't, we got to do our job. Whether there are, 100 people jamming out, whether there's one person jamming out, or whether you're just there.
Well, hold on. I wanted to ask you this. Has there ever been a time where, you met somebody doing the whole Miss Calliope thing, and then they saw you later on at a different time, and, they walked up in the middle of you doing like Ubo or something, and they had, like a shocked look on their face? Has that ever happened?
For a long time, I was so afraid of those worlds intersecting and some parents being upset.
Yeah.
But honestly, anyone that enjoys the Miss Calliope thing enough to dig into my personal music is like, they just got mad respect. And so one of my friends, I met them and their kids at an event at the Rocket City Reading Fest, which is another one of those events that the Orion Amphitheatre put on to breathe life into the community back in early March. And the dad was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that you did some other music." Like I looked it up whenever they made a post that there was going to be a musician.
He was looking into the Miss Calliope stuff, or he was looking into the...
He was looking into all of it.
Oh,
because he saw the video that the Orion posted, and he's like, "This looks like a fun person. I wonder if my kids would like to go see her." And then he went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Yeah, my kid's favorite song is the You Are a Star song, but they also love to belt Bring on the Rain in the car with me because I'm always playing, these things." And nice. It's just, I think parents appreciate dynamic people to influence their kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And anytime I give a Miss Calliope CD out to a parent, I'm like, by the way, that first song, Ubo, might not be one that you want to listen to.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was getting at. I just wondered if you ever had to give out your little disclaimers, your little warnings. You know what I'm saying?
I let people know, and I think they appreciate that. So, anywho, just to wrap up the Montgomery Whitewater gig, because there's a difference between a gig and a show.
Hell yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hell
what I'm thinking is if opportunities like that present themselves in the future, I'm going to be less artistic about it, and I'm just going to break out my loop pedal that has pre-programmed drum beats in it and just really genuinely have fun. Like what I do in my room by myself in public. Because the second set, when I started having more fun and just messing around, is when I started attracting really cool people. And I met a very, very cool person. I'm like, we're on the same wavelength. Afterwards, they fed me a meal, so I got to chat with the Russell, the sound guy, more, and he's so cool.
Shout out Russell.
Shout out Russell. See, I know my sound man's name.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You didn't have time to break bread with yourself.
To be fair, I was about to say. To be fair, I made eye contact with Cuz once, and that was it. It was just respect from afar. I hope it was mutual, but I didn't have time to break bread with my sound man.
It's all good.
But nah, I do want to say I tried something. It was very nerve wracking. So I played Lift Every Voice and Sing on guitar as like a solo before we did our last song, which is like if you don't know, it's like the Black national anthem or whatever. And I was gonna chicken out. I wasn't gonna do it, but my brother was like, "Nah, do it." And I was like, "All right," and I started playing it, and I had a moment where it really like I was emotional because like I was playing and I was playing and I was playing, and then there's a moment where there's like a dramatic, like fermata in the song, and then I realized people were singing along, and I was so in the moment, and it was like 1,000 degrees outside, but I'd be damned if I ain't have chill bumps. Like that was a very beautiful moment, and like the whole Juneteenth celebration was a very validating moment for me as a songwriter, because like Soul Carnival was only ever played in front of like the country bumpkin crowd, the punk rockers, the people that want to go out to the bars and have a good time, of course, but like we've never like played in front of an audience of just like all Black people before, and so I was just so afraid that like they weren't gonna like our music or I gotta tell you about Della. So Della goes out there to set up our merch table. Shout out to Della, man. She's awesome. She had a lot on her plate, but so she's setting up the merch table. We had just printed out a whole bunch of the artwork to the MLK Church fans, which is Martin Luther King on there with gold teeth and like a chain around it, right? Okay, we got these on church fans. And so,
which are essentially, tell us how the church fans are constructed, since I described my elemental sticks.
Well, so
for those of them listening,
literally piece of paper,
cardboard, sturdy paper now.
Sturdy paper, popsicle stick essentially. That's a church fan, right? That's just an overly crude way of explaining what it is. But we figured, it was really hot outside, and it'd be a cool little piece of merch that not only is it a spectacle, but it'd be useful because it's so hot outside. And, we were chilling in the green room, and Dobby calls me panicking like, "Hey man, there's a whole bunch of angry Black people around Della, and they're interrogating her about this artwork, and why does Martin Luther King have gold teeth in his mouth and he didn't have gold," just going on and on and on. And so I'm thinking there's like an angry mob out here, like attacking Della, like, who is this white girl selling these, Martin Luther, anyways. So I run out there, and they were just curious. They just didn't understand like what it was in relation to the artwork, and they weren't mad by any means. They were just curious. But I just thought that was so funny. Dobby was panicking. He was like, "Oh, we're going to get canceled." But yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
I mean, that's a conversation right there. Like the fear of being canceled, I feel like keeps so many people from expressing their most authentic selves.
What's the deal? Are we cussing or not? What's the deal? I didn't know.
It's slipping out.
Because like if I consciously think about it, then I'm good. But if I'm just being natural in my natural habitat, there's some things that are gonna slip out. And I don't know, man. Another thing I was thinking about when it comes to the podcast is like, oh man. So cursing is one thing. I want everybody who's listening to be comfortable. And I don't ever want to say nothing that makes people uncomfortable.
That gets us canceled.
But I've noticed with white folks over 40, sometimes the N-word can make them uncomfortable. And the last thing I'd ever want to do is make white folks over 40 uncomfortable, So.
Do you think we'll have anyone that is a white folk over 40 listening to this?
I don't know, man. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Like, I know in Huntsville alone, speaking on behalf of Soul Carnival, our like little audience is weird. It's like there's a whole bunch of like 20-somethings that rock with us, and then there's like a gap. There's a serious gap. You got like the 20, I'd say like maybe 20 to 32-year-old folks that rock with us heavy, and then there's like a generational gap. Yeah, it's like 50 and up. It's
you're onto something there. You're onto something there.
Yeah.
The way the generations flow is quite fascinating.
It's very strange.
I feel like those people who are 33 to 50 just don't know what's up for real.
I guess not. I don't know. But it's always so strange to me whenever like we have our shows and people start to kind of, you know, pop in and I'm saying what's up to everybody, and then, you know, sooner or later there's that squad of people that always show up, and you know, they're obviously older than everybody else, and you think like, oh, they're going to be the chill, laid back people. No, they're the ones that want to turn up the most and party the most, and so yeah.
You make them feel young again.
I guess something along those lines.
Oh man! So tell me more about the response from the crowd at St.Stephen's.
Oh, they didn't care what we did, yo. They were so chill. They were so fine with whatever.
So were they mostly there to party and celebrate?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
And so you guys were kind of more. It was more of a gig, whereas Juneteenth was more of a show.
No. It was. It's not that it wasn't a show. It's just that we could have got up there and flopped, and they still would have loved us, just because like the energy was there. They had already, you know, like as far as like what was on their itinerary, we were last. And so, no matter what happened, they were already so dead set on having a good time. No
were
matter
y'all the
what.
only band playing that night?
Yeah. And see, that was another thing.
And what was the Meat Sweats show the next night?
What do you mean? What was the Meat Sweat show?
Because you played at St. Stephen's 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, the Meat Sweats was opening up for Camacho.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Shout out Camacho.
So they just had a show there that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Meat Sweats opened up for Camacho, and those two bands are not affiliated in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely not.
I'm cracking myself up. Let me shut up. Well, I'm sorry. I got a little bit off the track there a little bit. Let me bring it on back in.
Wait, so you played like 3 shows in 24 hours?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah. Yep. It was a good time too. I really like Campus 805 the way it's set up, because you'd be surprised how many people are just walking around, bebopping around, and they hear something they like, and next thing you know, they're posted up just listening. So that's a really cool aspect about that spot that I like. The fact that you have the ability to lure people in if they like what they hear. That's really cool to me.
Yeah, it lends itself to being a discovery in someone's night.
Yeah, people just be outside. It's awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much the weekend, you know. There was something else that I was going to ask you about.
Well, I'll tell you about my Friday and my Thursday.
Yeah, do it.
I got to play shows.
Hell yeah.
As Miss Calliope. And as Calliope with Chuck King, our
Shout
beloved
out
friend.
Chuck King.
Shout out Chuck King, and that'll segue us back into our Montevallo conversation.
Oh yeah.
But what I gotta say about touring libraries this summer with Miss Calliope's From the Soil to the Stars is I know what it feels like to be in front of an audience that is receptive to what you're bringing, and how gratifying it is to have that energy exchange. So
yeah,
I've really been enjoying that the past couple of months, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. So I've learned that I can make about the same amount of money taking an hour to set up the show, doing the show that's highly engaging and just like really, really good, and then taking an hour to sit down and load up. Or I can show up and play a 3-hour thankless gig and make about the same amount of money. So it's like, there's always some element of work, even when you're doing what you love, but it's like, is the work outweigh, does the energy exchange either financially or on a mentally, emotional level kind of equal out? And so that's been something that's been really fun to figure out in this journey of creating an artistic career. And what I love about the things you're doing at Red Mountain Theater Company is that the whole production value and all of the behind the scenes things that it takes to create an incredible spectacle, I feel like I'm really excited to see those aspects of the work you're doing now merge with where Soul Karnival is going. Well, because I think lights and sound are really solid things, and costumes. And by costumes, I mean
hold on now.
Showing up looking sharp.
Okay, I don't want you to think that I'm at RMT like sitting here like evaluating.
But it's influencing. It's influencing. I think what I'm getting at here is everything that we are doing in our lives, whether we're making money working for someone else or our own artistic creative endeavor or, you know, the Miss Calliope educational thing or whatever it may be, the cover song we're going to do later today. They're all going to influence each other and create something stronger and more beautiful and more impactful.
Yeah, what was the word? There's a word, the intersectionality.
Intersectionality,
Yeah, for sure.
Because for a long time I felt like I'm never going to get good at anything or be able to build a career for myself if I don't laser focus in on one thing. And then I realized that by staying true to myself and all of the unique things that interest me, it's going to come together into something so unique that only I could bring to this planet.
Well,
and so
no,
I'm enjoying that.
I've kind of scaled down in a lot of ways if I evaluate the past year or so, maybe a couple years, because like I was doing so much at one point, like I was just firing on so many cylinders. I was maxed out, and so I've kind of had to like strip down some of the things that I was doing to make, you know, to apply pressure more evenly across the board, because not everything was intersecting. If that makes sense. There were some things that I was doing where it's like I wanted it to feed into other things, but it just wasn't quite doing it.
There's a seasonality to all of these
things. You making up words now. Intersectionality was already cutting it close.
Seasonality,
now
intersectionality.
You're just saying stuff. Well, I
mean, but what is language other than just
somebody had to make the words up.
Made up.
Somebody had to make the words up. Now we could get on that language tangent, but I don't think you would want that.
I think at some point Southernisms are gonna have a spotlight.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I could sit here and just roast the English language passionately for hours and hours and hours, because what are we talking about, bro?
You and me both.
Like, nah. Okay, I'll say this and I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
One thing that couple things that I've stopped doing. We have a really bad habit as English speakers of judging somebody's intelligence based off how well they're able to articulate the English language correctly. That's crazy. You got to stop doing that, because some of the most intelligent, bright minds, like they don't show their intelligence in how they speak. They show their intelligence in what they're saying, which, you know, that's number one. And number two thing we got to stop.
So what's wrong with me making up words all the time?
Oh, no, there's not. I'm just giving you a hard time, but
I deserve it.
But like in all honesty, like we really got to stop doing that. And then the other thing is I've quit code switching, bro.
You quit code switching?
Yeah, I just quit caring. I don't care no more. I don't care. Because listen, I notice like anytime I'm on my best, like, you know, diction, enunciation, I'm doing everything to speak proper, blah, 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 blah. I felt like I was just a number. But then when I got around when I got around these folks and I just started carrying on like how I naturally carry on, it's like it intrigues them and they want to speak more and they want to learn more. And then I'm more of a, you know, I can't really explain what I am to these people whenever I'm just talking how I normally talk. But I don't get that same response when I'm, you know, going out of my way to impress people with how I talk. It just doesn't happen. But when I'm just being...
No, and the energy of showing up and trying to, like, fit in is not a great... And not it comes from a place of, I don't know. I don't want to say insecurity, because I'm not calling you insecure by any means, but I know that I have adjusted myself and my behavior and all of these things to, like, try to fit in.
Yeah.
People can feel that desperate energy when you're thinking too hard about what you're saying or not being yourself.
Yeah. But if everybody just stopped code switching, like, at the same time, it would force everybody to get out of their comfort zone as far as the language, you know, goes. Like, they would be kind of forced to understand what this means and what that means, and, you know. But that's a whole nother rant for a different day. We ain't got to get into that.
And if they don't understand it, they're always welcome to ask questions. And I think that is another reason that people continue to code switch, is because they don't want to answer the questions that come along with being their unapologetic selves and communicating how they regularly communicate.
Yeah, that can be exhausting.
And what I will say, I don't know if this is code switching as much as it is wearing different hats, but I'm going to talk to a teacher that I'm trying to work with much differently. So what's the difference between code switching and wearing different hats for different purposes?
Okay. See, it's so crazy that you would say that because it's a very thin line. Like, okay, so for example, let's say that you grew up, in the backwoods armpit of Alabama, like I did. I know that there are certain things that I can say in conversation that you will understand, right? I also know and understand that there's certain ways that I could speak to you where you might not understand what I'm saying at all, right? Mm-hmm. With that being said, everything factors in when you're talking about communication. So everything down to age, down to race, down to, like everything factors in, right? So I'm not going to speak to an older person from the backwoods armpit of Alabama like I would a younger person because there's so many things, so many references that are tied to age that you might not, right? Mm-hmm. And so then when you put, race into this or you put culture into this or you put whatever, it's like, man, I feel like the most important thing is, are you maintaining what you're saying? Like is the message that you're trying to convey, is it the same, right? As long as what you're saying isn't changing, then it's fine. Because like I talk to my preacher the same way I talk to my coworkers, the same way I talk to my little sister.
Sensitive to the delivery, but the message is still the same. That makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And knowing who's prepared for what conversation is another aspect. But
I mean, at the same time, it's like, yo, I be at work talking crazy. I just be talking crazy. Like I'll just be speaking the craziest, just gutters, language, country bumpkin, and it's like, if they get it, they get it. If they don't get it, I don't care. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And it's more fun to me than anything. It's just like, let me speak a different language to these folks real quick. Matter of fact, shout out Swanglish. I was talking to Benny, and Benny does this thing where he will like send me like a chunk of Swahili knowing that I can't understand it. And so I was like, you know what? I can play that game too. And I'll just send him just like, a paragraph of just super country bumpkin backwoods, just Alabama language. And I know he doesn't know what it means. And it's like, oh, I speak 2 languages too, But anyways, I digress. Montevallo.
So good old Chuck and I sang for a Chamber of Commerce 75th year anniversary awards ceremony event. It was at American Village. Mm-hmm. I got to wear a fancy prom dress.
You wore a prom dress, my guy?
I wore. It was formal, and so we were singing songs that are 75 years old. Like,
oh, you were singing jazz standards.
Yep, jazz standards. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, Accentuates Positive. Some songs I'd never heard of before. And when I went home to sing, to visit my dad, Hercules.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Herc.
I was like,
Big Herc. I'm sorry.
Big Herc. Lil Herc. My dad's name is Hercules, for anyone who's wondering. He's like 3 inches taller than me and weighs 150 pounds.
He's 7'3", 350 pounds, all muscle. He bench presses like 500 pounds. He's a specimen. He's a true work of art. I think he just won the most recent bodybuilding competition down there in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, shout out Big Herc.
Big Herc, Papa Herc. So I was like, hey, can I practice some of these songs for you that I'm doing for this gig? And I started singing one of them, Some Enchanted Evening, and he started tearing up, and and all of his muscles. And he was like, oh, my parents used to sing that song together. So I love singing with Chuck King because he's pulling in music from my grandparents' generation, and in that way I feel a lot closer.
That's beautiful.
To them.
Yeah,
and all my grandparents had passed away by the time I was in like the 5th grade, and so I didn't get much time to spend with them. So Chuck's presence in my life has been something that's really, really beautiful. Tell our listeners more about Chuck King and your first experience meeting him.
I don't remember my first time meeting Chuck, but I know that I can't remember if I think I know what it was. Dr. Joe was on sabbatical, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Dr. Joe was on sabbatical and Chuck had taken over the jazz band for that semester. And that was my introduction to Chuck. And here's the thing. When it comes to making an impression on a knuckleheaded, just stubborn college student like myself, you're fighting an uphill battle because, like, I was the type of student, especially in jazz band, where I felt like, you know, up until that point, there was so much that I was learning about jazz that I wasn't actually learning through the college, if that makes sense. And so, you know, I kind of had this attitude where it's like, oh, y'all can't tell me nothing about jazz. I don't already know. You know, I kind of had that like cocky attitude a little bit. And Chuck humbled me because it's like, I'm thinking I'm, you know, pretty decent at improv. And then he'd be like, hey man, you need to lay it back. You need to use more space. Hey, you're doing too much, basically. And
wow, that was me at Montevallo doing too much for sure.
Well, I mean, understand, I'm speaking in the context of like improv specifically. And he had a way of communicating what the music needed in order to be more effective in a jazz sense. And that was just that semester where Dr. Joe was on sabbatical. And then I took his jazz improv class. That was awesome. I learned so much from Chuck, dude. Like, oh, you have no idea. Like, for example, he would teach us licks, okay? And learning a lick is one thing, but he'd be like, okay, now go apply it.
Now, would Chuck call it a lick, or would he call it something else?
I'm pretty sure he'd call it a lick. Okay. Like I vividly remember, like,
different than a lick back.
Yeah. Like I definitely can remember, like I'll be jamming and then I'll be like, oh, Chuck taught me that lick. You know, like it's very memorable how he would you know, show us these licks and whatnot. But that's not even the thing that I remember the most about like the improv class. Like, this man was so good at making sure everybody understood the spirit of jazz improv, right? And no teacher had done that up until that point, right? There's no right or wrong unless you feel it's right or wrong. And I think that's probably one of the most important things when it comes to trying to express yourself with an instrument, you know, because like if it sounds right to you, it's right, point blank, period. You know,
or just anything in general. Yeah. Because I don't know, second guessing ourselves and not trusting ourselves is a really big problem. And the more self-doubt you have, the more easily led you become in this life. And then you don't know who you turn into.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's no surprise that the arts continue to get cut in school.
Oh wow, that was a ruthless segue. Oh my God, give me some. That was fire. That was bravo. That was yeah. But I mean, you're speaking facts because like at the end of the day, as somebody who's dedicated their whole life basically to music, we can sit here and we can scream until we're hoarse about how music has the potential to help in all these different ways. The fact of the matter is the people who are making the decisions about, you know, like where money is going and whether or not we are going to support the arts, if they don't feel it, they don't feel like that money is well spent going towards the arts. And I feel like we've got this purpose, we've got this responsibility to kind of combat that, and show all the different kind of ways that the arts are beneficial to everybody's well-being in whatever shape or form. But yeah, no, Chuck is definitely one of my favorite ever professors.
He's such a golden human. Also, shout out to Dr. Faulkner. She was primarily a staff accompanist and would also teach the piano course, but she's one of those professors at Montevallo that I felt really channeled something whenever she was making the music, not just intellectually getting all the notes and the rhythms right.
Oh man, I watched, I can't remember if it was like my first semester or like it was early in my Montevallo career, but I watched her recital and I was like, yo, this is something different. Because like it didn't feel like she was just playing music. It felt like you were like in the midst of something kind of bigger than that. But I never really got close to Dr. Faulkner. I was always just kind of like a fan from afar, you know. A lot of respect.
Favorite voice lessons were when my teacher would be out and she'd say, "We'll just practice with, Dr. Faulkner." This was the day she was supposed to come to our lesson anyways. And Dr. Faulkner would ask me the most interesting questions about what I thought the composer was trying to convey, or what they might have been feeling in their personal lives.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so she just, the way she thinks deeply without overthinking is a quality that she and Chuck, I think, share, because they're both very peaceful individuals with nothing to prove. And that is a stark contrast to a majority of...
you just said something. Oh my God.
The instruction we
you kind of just blew my mind, because like, I feel like a big part of, just the whole music department at Montevallo was just so cutthroat. It was so like competitive and so, whatever. But like, it's a breath of fresh air when you get around somebody who's like, hey, we're not competing with anybody. Hey, we're trying to make the best. And that's always really resonated with me, because I've never been a competitive person. That's why I was always trash at sports. I'll never forget. I remember one time we was playing rec league baseball, and baseball. We made it to like the championship game or whatever, and we lost. And man, my little teammates or whatever, they're crying, boo-hoo crying, like actual tears. And as a child, I understood, like, bro, no, did you think you were about to get signed to the pros off this game? Like, we are here because my mama and your mama paid the rec center $40 a month. That's why we here. And like, I don't know. I was just always wired as, from a young age, just never to be, I was just never a competitive person. And when competitive energy gets in the music, I feel like it just takes so much away from what music is actually supposed to do.
I have two, I guess, follow-up questions, maybe one statement, one question. The statement is, I have been a very competitive person in my life, which is why switching into creating something that's unique to me has been a lot better for my mental health. But the question for you was, were you just not attached to outcomes from a very early age?
I'm going to tell you what I think did it, man. I got 3 older brothers, right? And like, they'd always be playing fighting games, like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. And they'd always give me the broke controller that wasn't even connected no way. You know what I'm saying? And then what I finally actually did to get to play, like my brothers, they're like 75 years older than me. So it's like, of course they're going to beat me at Mortal Kombat. Of course they're going to beat me at Street Fighter. So I was like, man, the hell with them video games anyway. I want to go play Final Fantasy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me know
what that is.
Let me go play.
Let me go play in the day.
I'll put it to you like this. This is how long I've been wired to not be competitive. There's a game called Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and Hot Pursuit 2 for all you video game people out there. When I was a youngin', the whole point was to race. It was a racing game. I would put it on like free mode and just run from the police.
Interesting.
The whole point of the game was to race. I was just like, no, I don't want to compete with other racers. I just want to run from the police helicopter. Like, from a young age, like I was always just never, like, even when we played basketball, like I didn't care too much about winning. I cared more about, like, can I make an impressive shot from far away? Like, can I block somebody else's shot? But I wasn't really caring about the score. Like, how am I doing? How am I playing? You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, I always gravitated towards martial arts as a youngin'. It was always super fly to me, because it's like you're competing with yourself, bro. Like, you are who you're really competing with. So yeah, I don't know. I just think I've always kind of been wired like that. I blame my siblings. I really do. Just always being last at everything, being beat. And plus, I was never really athletic for real, yo. Like, I was always the tall kid. I was always the tall black kid where, like, anytime we were playing pickup, You know, it's like they'd be like, oh, he's tall and black, he's good, get him on the team. And then I'm trash, and they're like, you know, they're like, what is this? You're tall and black and you trash at basketball? What is this? I never made the team. I ain't never make a team.
You're missing layers.
What you mean?
I'm just quoting
what?
Your lyrics in a nonchalant way.
What lyrics you talking about?
Laid up, played up.
Oh, yeah. Don't let the party get played up. Yeah.
Y'all missing layers. I ain't never made a team.
You think that's what I was saying? You think I was... That's what you think I was saying? We need to have a whole nother segment where it's like, you say what you think I'm saying in these songs. Because I'm saying, this is what I'm saying in that line. I'm saying, see, as a rapper, of course, I gotta start. Okay, on my Curtis Mayfield, y'all ain't on the play field. Think I lost the pay stub. I'll be trying to ball though. Can't forget I need to pray still. Y'all be missing layups. I be shooting jump shots. With my people laid up, prayed up. Hope the party don't get sprayed up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying layers. I'm saying layups because, like, okay, so in basketball, a layup is like the easiest shot, right? I'm saying I'm trying to ball though, right? Like I'm trying to ball like basketball. Y'all are missing layups while I'm over here nonchalantly shooting jump shots. That's what I'm saying in those lyrics.
Heard.
Yeah, that makes me wonder, what the hell do you think I'm saying half the time?
Man, while we're on this brief segment of roasting Calliope for what she thought lyrics were.
You gonna beat me to the punch?
You gotta tell him I was so excited to talk to you about the country grammar song.
Hold on. And, okay, no, I gotta pull up the lyrics because I want to make sure I'm...
It's Nelly, right?
Yeah, it's the song is Nelly Country Grammar.
And I was at a gas station in South Georgia doing a run of Miss Calliope shows, and I heard this guy bumping this song that my sisters used to play, my older sisters, because much like you, I got siblings who are a lot older than me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, that song goes hard. I haven't heard it in a long time. And so in my typical Calliope fashion, I decided to pull it up and start listening to it on repeat. And as Nelly's rapping, I'm like, wow, this is a great song to discuss on the podcast because he's shouting out all of these southern cities.
Right.
And he's so advanced for his time because the song comes out in like 2000 and he references AI. I thought it was artificial intelligence, but what is it?
Right. So the line is, play by my rules, boo, and you gonna stay high. May I answer your third question like AI? Now, here's why that's a bar. This might be the first time that a bar has aged into a double entendre. Let me explain. So, in case you don't know it, my man Nelly is talking about Allen Iverson, who's a basketball player. His nickname is The Answer. So he's saying, may I answer your third question like AI? Like he's making a reference to Allen Iverson's nickname being The Answer. Miss Calliope Pettis here thought that he was referencing AI intelligence, like artificial intelligence, which is crazy because like we said, this is early 2000s.
But
because now that it's 2024, this bar has aged into a double entendre because may I answer your question like AI? That is not only referencing Allen Iverson's nickname, but it's also referencing the artificial intelligence. So, hey, listen, it is what it is. But the fact that you thought that's what Nelly was talking about is just crazy to me.
But also, if you keep your eye on, popular culture, television, music, even news in a lot of ways, I feel like they've always been foreshadowing what's coming. So you never really know. Nelly could have been onto some shit.
You think Nelly with them people?
I don't know. It doesn't matter who them people are, but
the hell it don't.
I do believe incredibly successful and talented people are channeling something a lot of times from another realm. Do you ever feel like you're channeling a song and not like you're writing it? It's not you having an experience and then trying to make sense of it.
That's all. I don't keep my lyrics unless it feels like that.
Like unless it feels channeled.
yeah, if it don't feel channeled, if it feels forced, then I got notebooks full of just scrap lyrics because it felt like it was being forced too much, and it wasn't really like, because like some of the illest bars I've ever written, illest concepts, illest chord progressions, whatever it may be, it's always things that happen so naturally and peacefully and, you know, quick as well. Like I don't like to, you know, have time be a factor, but like a lot of times that's what it is. Like some of my greatest verses, especially, like I wrote like really fast, you know? So yeah, if it doesn't feel like I'm channeling it, I'm not even really rocking with it.
Is there a way of like priming the pump? Because for me, I feel like songwriting is a practice, and the more I practice it, the more I'm creating a channel for things to flow through more clearly. It's like I feel as if, and this could just be me making things harder on myself than they need to be, because that's just part of who I am and my evolution as an artist and as a human.
That's a good question. I don't know. For me, I mean, and I'm sure lots of other songwriters can relate to this. Like, you know, obviously, exhaustion. Like on the brink of exhaustion, that's when I feel like I think of the most brilliant.
I agree, because it's like lines. all of the judgment we may otherwise have, that wall is down. Yeah. I feel like some of my finest work has been done when I'm ass tired in a studio, and it's like all my perfectionism barriers have just fallen down, and it's like the truth can come out. And I feel like this ties into the conversation we were having earlier about code switching.
How? What are you talking about, Willis?
Because whenever we're editing our creative flow or our creative process to make sense to other people, then it becomes a less pure and authentic expression.
Oh, wow. And see, that kind of segues back to what I was talking about with the whole Juneteenth thing. Like, I feel like me and Dobby as songwriters, we're making music for an audience that we haven't really got to perform for real. Like the audience that we are speaking on behalf of when we're writing our lyrics, like the people that we think would relate to our music the most, we have not had an opportunity to play in front of them.
Well, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment, because I have found where Miss Calliope is most appreciated and received and accepted, and where people are ready for the message I have. And you guys found that this weekend at the Juneteenth celebration. And so I'm just celebrating us in this moment, because it takes a lot of courage to continue staying true to your artistic path when you're not receiving feedback from the audiences you're playing in front of.
Yeah, well, and I will say this. I think that I've personally come to a realization where I've just accepted that most of the people who are fans of the music we make, the vast majority of them don't know what the hell we talking about.
It's to them, it's like a movie. It's like a glimpse into another reality.
Yeah.
And the beauty is that they want to connect with it. They want to understand it.
Exactly. Yes. And
that desire. They might not understand it, but they sense that authenticity. I'm thinking about that.
You are preaching.
That
old, that's crazy.
That, mid-40s couple at the open bottle in Madison.
Yeah.
They were digging us. And we were like, interesting. You guys look like you go to Church of the Highlands. And you're like really vibing.
They gave me, well, let me shut up. Yeah, no, you're right. They did give Church of the Highlands vibe for real. But yeah, but like they're a good example. Like I guarantee you, they probably understood maybe like an 8th, 7th of what me and Dobby were talking about in our lyrics. Like, if that, But that doesn't change the fact that they understood that there was passion, right? And for most people, that's all it takes. That's why I love Huntsville so much. Like, Huntsville, the music scene in Huntsville, like, as long as they see that you are somebody who has put time, effort, and passion into what you're doing, they're going to support the music. They don't care. Because that's all they need to have a good time. All they need is to know that you spent time and effort and passion, and then they're good. Their drinks are getting poured, and dances are getting danced. You dig? So,
amen.
Yeah. I didn't mean for this to be like a dead end, But
no, it feels good, and honestly, we've been talking for an hour, and I feel like
are you serious?
I'm serious. Yeah, we hit our hour-long mark.
Ain't no way. I ain't even said nothing. Don't quote me, boy. You ain't said shit.
Yeah, you've been talking the whole time.
No, I haven't. It don't seem like it.
You gave me such a hard time last time for forgetting to ask you questions, and so I just felt like this was my opportunity to.
I said like one thing.
Throw a little shade at you. It was twice.
The word was reciprocity. The word was reciprocity. And if you don't know that word, ladies and gentlemen, give that a Google if you would. It might help you in your personal relationships and whatnot.
Another one that might help you for your personal relationships. Compersion.
Excuse me?
Compersion. I didn't make that word up.
Define it.
I'm gonna let you and the viewers look that up in your own time.
Okay, all right. So is that what we're doing? Are we throwing shade with vocabulary now? That's what we're doing. I know a word that you don't know. I mean, it's fine. I just need to understand the assignment. It's fine. Is this really been an hour?
It's been an hour, and we had a plan to discuss Soul Carnival song Juice Box and to discuss one of my songs, Joyfully Alone, because we're going to use segments of those songs as theme music for future episodes.
We were supposed to delve into Montevallo like for real.
Listen, I feel like I'm happy with the direction that this went. I feel like the first several episodes are going to be them getting to know us, and the structure will emerge from there.
That's fine. I'm with it.
Because we talked about the most important parts of Montevallo, and that is Chuck King and Dr. Lynn Faulkner.
That's gonna piss a lot of people off. It's gonna make a lot of people mad. But hey, yeah, no, you said that. No.
What else do we need to say about Montevallo for real though?
If they need to quit playing about bringing back Eclipse. If they're gonna bring it back, they need to bring it back. But if they're not gonna bring it back, they need to quit playing.
Yeah, it kind of hurt my feelings when you started talking about Seas because it just reminded me that it's not Eclipse.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Anything else about Montevallo?
I mean, yeah, I got lots to say about Montevallo, but it's like an hour worth of stuff, and I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
I got something I'd like to say about Montevallo. I had a very nice time returning to the community on Thursday to do that show with Chuck King. However, it was weird being there and walking around town and campus at night in the summer when there aren't students around.
Yeah, it's a ghost town.
Because I spent a lot, I lived in Montevallo for 8 years. A little too
8
long.
years?
A little too long.
How you do that?
2013 to 21.
How did you even do that?
I had that dope-ass apartment.
Shout out Stacia. But for real, 8 years, how did you do that?
I really lived there for 8 years.
Huh.
And so, being back there...
How many years did you stay in school?
4.5.
Oh, so you just thugging most of the time.
Yeah, and then 3.5 years was me mostly driving up to Birmingham to do a bunch of stuff. Falling in love, living in the projection booth of a movie.
You made that sound like it was such an inconvenience. Like, you made it sound like like the toilet stopped.
And out of love. Okay, jeez. We gotta make the subject sore. I'm gonna laugh to hide my emotional pain. But all that to say is being back in Montevallo at this point in my life, even though it was just for an evening, felt really difficult because when I was living there, I was so unclear on what I wanted or what my purpose was or who appreciated what I had to offer. And it was good. It was a good moment to provide contrast to the life that I am living now, and I'm grateful for that. Visited some of my favorite trees there on campus.
I knew something hippy dippy was coming sooner or later. I knew it. I could sense it. I was like, she about to say something about trees or some plants or that wretched creek that runs through Montevallo. Like,
look, I never swam in that creek. Okay.
Oh, you couldn't pay me to get in that water.
Shoal Creek. Shout out.
Hell no. Now I think I might have tried my hand at fishing in that creek before. I didn't have no luck.
Okay, I lied. I did swim in that creek.
I knew your ass was lying. I knew you.
But upstream of Orr Park.
Like that, it's. I mean, I guess that makes it a little better. Hey, listen,
because it's upstream of the factories that are there in town.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like it does make a difference.
No, I'm sure it does. I just know I actually took a hiking class when I was at UM, and I got to see all that stuff. That was bro.
They had a hiking class?
Yeah, it was
Man,
lit too.
why didn't they pay me to lead that? I walked
lit.
every trail within a 10-mile radius of Montevallo when I was living there.
Yeah, our final exam, we went to Oak Mountain.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was like the final exam or whatever. But I mean, it was the whole class was just such a joke to me, and this is me flexing my North Alabama pinky up.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all. There's better hiking here in Huntsville than anywhere I've lived before, and I'm just
thrilled. Like growing up, like I was scaling Lookout and Monte Sano in my childhood, so it's like.
What did you call it?
Monte Sano.
Monte
Sano.
There's no T in it for
Monte
you?
Sano in Huntsville.
Monte Sano?
Monte Sano in Huntsville.
I thought it was Monte
Listen,
Sano.
I speak the dialect around these parts, okay? How I'm saying is how you're supposed to say it. Listen to your local now. It's Monte Sano down there in Huntsville.
You're just blowing my mind.
Monte Sano, you go up that there mountain. Listen, don't get me started because I won't stop.
I want you to go up there mountain. Tell me what's up there in that mountain.
You go down there, that there Highway 72, what you going to do, you're going to drive up the east side of Monte Sano Mountain down there.
East side of Monte
Once
Sano.
you get on the other side of that there mountain, you're going to be in Huntsville. Right, you take 565, it'll take you right there to the Space and Rocket Museum. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it will. Yep.
So you were flexing in the class?
I mean, I was just flexing my, like, snobbiness of...
Your lung capacity?
Not even lung capacity, just the fact that, like, I felt like a seasoned hiker. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was just in the class just to be in the class, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you got to understand, like, it would be nothing for me to just... Especially when I lived in Fort Payne, I just go and be in the woods for hours and hours and hours at a time. Like just, growing up in Scottsboro, one of our favorite things to do is, climb Tater Knob, go up Melody Mountain, sneak up behind the TVA property where you ain't supposed to be and hike to the big water, the flashing lights up there. Like that was just like, it don't get me wrong. It's not the Rockies. It's not the Alps. It's nothing crazy, but like I'm no stranger to being in the woods, climbing up some mountains, and just walking in a field in Montevallo and calling it hiking just felt so taboo. It just, you know what I'm saying? But
now that loop around the lake had a little bit of elevation.
Yeah.
You gotta give it some credit.
Yeah, it did.
Gotta give it some credit.
It did.
Did you ever go out to Fallen Rock in Montevallo?
Once, I believe.
Yeah, that's You gotta be brave to scale down that thing.
Man, let me tell you something about the Hippie Hole down there in the Cab Canyon. Have you been to the Hippie Hole?
You up in Fort Payne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You been to the Hippie Hole?
Of course
Oh,
I have.
Man. There's a certain little... Okay, so there's a part of Lookout in the Cab County where it's like around the corner from the Hippie Hole. Mm-hmm. If you are not careful, it is so dangerous because like the water... is really shallow and there's like a random dip where it's like it's probably like walkable and then it just dives down like really fast and drastically as the river is kind of bending as well, and then on top of that, that's kind of an area where the current kind of tends to push and pull a little bit, and I remember one time, man, we were trying to swim across and the current had like pushed me up against this huge rock, like all of a sudden I wasn't ready for it and I damn sure wasn't trying to go swimming, and
why that?
What do you mean? I can swim just fine, damn it. I can swim damn good, thank you very much. I just wasn't prepared to go swimming. Man, stick a fork in it. Stick a fork in it before we both get canceled.
All right. Well, what's our closing phrase? Haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, I thought it was stick a fork in it. You ain't rocking with it?
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, let's stab it.
Not stab it. Stick a fork in it, not stab it. Stab it is too violent.
All right. We're sticking a fork in it.
Do it to it.